Hello everyone, my name is Larseth, and welcome back to Europa Universalis IV, and episode 1 of our Austria campaign. We are back in glorious Europe. I have put my tail between my legs, and I've run crying home from the Siberian, well, not quite Siberia, was it? So, I guess northeastern Asia, after I chickened out of my last campaign. So I thought, I'll come back and have a game where, there are achievements we could get as Austria. Like 3 personal unions at once, which is very doable. But it relies on a lot of luck as well. So it's not specifically one that, certainly you can aim for it, by playing, I don't know, the Game of Thrones, I guess, as it has been known. Like within sort of EU4, like there's whole guides on how you can like basically really try and go for getting personal unions. But I'm probably not going to do that. So if I get it, fine, happy, dandy, all the world is good. But if not, I don't care either. So Austria. Obviously start off as the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. So we're the Emperor, and we have lots of electors, as which we have to take care of, and lots of princes. So where is my little map mode? So there is the Empire. And basically we are the policemen of this empire in this campaign. So I swear in the last sort of few patches, Austria has had its teeth removed and its claws removed, because it used to be big Austria versus big France. But now it appears to be Austria gets destroyed, and doesn't get big at all. France is still pretty strong, but Austria just seems to always fail in every campaign I see. Or, what happens is they get big enough, or they normally get the Burgundian succession, and they get a few other bits and pieces, and then they lose, I guess, the emperorship, if that's what it's called. They lose their place as the empire, and then the HRE just falls apart. Because if you don't have a large power to police it, then what you end up with is lots of sort of mini blobs within the HRE. So Brandenburg quite often get big. Any nation can get big. So really what Austria should be is the police of the HRE, keeping people sort of relatively small, but that hasn't been happening. But as we are obviously controlling it as a human player, that shouldn't be too hard to do. So that'll be probably our aim, pass a few of the reforms in the Holy Roman Empire. Ideally, we'd like to, revoke the privilegia and all that stuff, but I think I've only done that once, and that was obviously in a campaign I didn't record a long time ago. But we'll try and do it again. So let's start off by having a look at Austria. We start off with a 251 King Friedrich III von Habsburg, 29 years old. We don't have an heir as yet, so what we want to do is keep pretty high prestige, because that'll help us spread our dynasty around. The Habsburg dynasty is a pretty prolific dynasty. Or dynasty, however you want to pronounce it. So, that's going to be our aim. So we will get an heir. Who's our choice for rivals? I'm going to pick Venice as a rival, and I'll explain why in a minute. I will pick... Who else do I want as a rival? Burgundy. Sort of goes without saying. And... maybe Denmark. Or maybe England. Because France are going to rival England, actually. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rival England, and that might make France like me slightly more. which will be good. Because at the moment, I'm not too worried about, France. We're not going to worry about France. So our first point of call, excuse me, is oh, it doesn't show in this. I thought it showed in here. But the Shadow Kingdom, there'll be a pop-up saying something about the Shadow Kingdom, and that is essentially you have, I think, 40 years as Austria to bring northern Italy, I think up to this sort of rough line here, into the Empire. Otherwise, they then leave permanently. I'm not sure what the benefit is of you bringing them in early. I can't quite remember. I think it's that, all this stuff stays in the Empire even if you don't own it. Not quite sure. However, that'll be the first port of call, will be to try and do this, which means that it's a lot of managing aggressive expansion, because this is the thing that, expanding into this, you have to take this land yourself. It has to be in the Empire, so that means you have to take it yourself and then potentially give it to a vassal, or put it into the Empire, then give it to a vassal. So that's a lot of aggressive expansion, especially if you're also expected to do the next thing, which we'll be planning on, which is trying to I say force is the wrong word. Trying to get the Burgundian succession to fire. So what this is trying to get Burgundy's, at the moment, 48-year-old king, Duke Philip III, trying to get him to die. Now, the chance of that obviously increases if he's a general or stuff like that, and it also increases if you have a high war score against Burgundy. So what quite often, playing as France or Austria, you will try to do is go to war with Burgundy, destroy their armies over and over and over again, just so you can try to kill their king in battle, I guess. And then you'll just sit there. Sit there, and sit there, and sit there, and wait for call for peace. So you do that, and then you basically are trying to keep the land fully occupied, so that 1, your rivals can't take it, and 2, it increases the chance that you'll get Burgundian succession. And then all of this land becomes, or at least the land that you control when that fires, will go over to Austria, or whichever country you control. If they're at peace and he dies, then I think I can't remember exactly how it gets split. I'm not sure whether it's random or whatever, but we'll deal with that at a later date. So let's also look at, quickly, first, our economy. Economy. So we make most of our money from taxation, which is not surprising. Tyrol, however, has produces gold, rather. So that's going to give us a lot more money just by, bumping that up a bit. So we will do that over time. Yeah, so we'll have to bump up Tyrol. And then other than that, relatively unspectacular at the moment. We, of course, have to manage our inflation because we have a gold mine. But that won't be too hard. Ideas. So Austrian ideas. Imperial ambitions is a really good one. So imperial authority increase is a huge sort of bonus, because it'll basically mean that we'll be closer to passing reforms. It'll make it easier to pass reforms. And also the Diplo annexation cost, that is just purely aimed at cases where I think you get personal unions. So, like, if I was to get Castile in a personal union, for example, then it just reduces the cost to me to actually to annex them, or integrate, I think it's called in that case. Military frontier, fort maintenance, and national garrison growth up. So that's basically designed around you potentially being able to have numerous forts. Because I don't know about it for everyone else, but for me, I don't tend to build that many forts unless there's a particular choke point. This is aimed at, potentially building multiple forts. As you can see, we start off with an extra fort Aside from the one in our capital, which technically, the one in your capital already has a fort, I think, by default, so I'm not sure why there's another one. Unless I just am making that up. I'm not sure. I was almost certain that your capital had a fort by default. Anywho. Fugger or Fugger. I'm going to go for Fugger because it sounds less weird. Banking. Yearly inflation reduction. That's good. That'll help. Because obviously we got a gold mine. And interest per annum. Always good if we happen to ever take loans. Habsburg dominance. Diplo rep +2. That will be really useful for loads and loads of things. So that integration, annexation, getting alliances, etc., etc. Edict of Restitution, missionary strength. That'll help when the Reformation hits. I will probably take religious ideas at some point, I imagine. They probably won't be my first idea. Might be my second. Austrian court, Diplo relations +1. That's important. That I can't even pronounce. Hofkriegsrat. Possibly. Discipline +3% and reinforced speed +30%. That's not too bad. So in total, those add up to, well, I mean, to start off with, you get +10% morale of armies and better relations over time. The better relations over time will be important because when we're doing the Shadow Kingdom, or trying to stop it, we'll be getting a lot of aggressive expansion around here. So we will want to improve relations with people to stop that, basically. And then we get a increased chance of a new heir once we filled out all of those ideas. Which is good, because it means we're, I guess, less likely to be stuck with a Regency Council, because it reduces the amount of time that we will potentially be without an heir. Although I guess our rulers could just die and leave very young children. Who knows? Is there anything else worth looking at? Ideas. What are we going to go for first? Where's the aggressive expansion impacts? So we could go for influence ideas. That might not be such a bad thing. That's primarily focused on if you're planning on having lots of vassals. I'm not so sure we are. But then personal unions, do they technically count as vassals? I don't know. Will that increase the amount of money I get from them? And we might go for that. Who knows? What else will we go for? Like I said, religious. I mainly want this to cope with the Reformation, which is why I'm not going to get it first, because the Reformation won't start for a good while. So that'll be fine. If we're going to be taking Venice, we'll probably want to get trade at some point as well. Diplomatic we'll want to get as well, because diplomatic in the HRE is pretty much mandatory. I'll probably actually get that first, I think. Yeah, I'll probably get diplomatic reputation first. Not reputation, sorry. I'll probably get diplomatic ideas first. Offensive, I will certainly get at some point. We'll see. See how fast we actually get the ideas. So, maybe after, this video, I believe, is all... well, it must be almost 3/4 done, if not more than that. Now, we might actually be in a position to start playing the game. So, what are we going to do? So, what's our mission? Actually, no, let's first do, where are our merchants? So they're both funneling trade into wine, sorry, I think it's wine. Which is fine, we're okay with that. What mission? Conquer Franche-Comté. That's off Burgundy. So I think we will solidify papal relations. I'm not going to do that in the moment, because chances are I'm going to be going to war with them at some point soon. So I don't... yeah, not really any point. So I'm going to take Conquer Franche-Comté. Assuming I'm pronouncing that right, which I'm probably not. Anywho, what else are we going to do here? So we have one solitary bark. We are going to send him into Ragusa. just so we can funnel some more trade up towards Fine. So, send you to Ragusa. And we are going to name you Ragusa. There we go. And then we have some ships, some cogs, and some galleys. I'm going to keep those just for the moment because, yeah, we'll see what we do with them. This is the beauty of being Europe, and we're actually making money. We don't have to, like, axe all of our army to make any money, which is good. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to get a royal marriage with Bohemia. I'm going to get a royal marriage with Hungary. I'm going to get a royal marriage with Castile, I think. Yeah, I'm going to get a royal marriage with Castile. I'm going to put this on speed 3. Right, so royal marriage with Castile. So what this essentially is setting the groundwork for I want personal unions. As if I was, I'm not being sly about it in the slightest. But we also need to get alliances with our electors. Which, makes sense. So, let's, before I forget, let's expand all of these categories. So, Holy Roman Empire, who are our electors? So Bohemia is definitely an elector, so we want to... are the Palatinate an elector? They are, so I might as well ally the Palatinate. Saxony. So I'm going to ally certainly Bohemia. I don't have speed 4. I'm just waiting for my... He wants an ally. Hungary. See, there is a option, I think, to go to war with Hungary to actually enforce personal union. Technically, they don't have an heir, so... Can I actually claim the throne? Oh, okay. Never mind, I don't think I can. So I'm going to ally with Hungary for the moment anyway. I'm going to ally with Bohemia, because they are an elector. And they also don't have an heir. I want to keep... Basically, I'm keeping an eye out because I want to get... I want to be able to claim thrones. That's essentially what I'm looking for. Why do Brandenburg not like me? Apparently they do, just... Oh, they're not voting for me. Okay. So, who do I want? Saxony... How many slots do I have? I can have one more diplomatic relation. So, who do I go for? Do I go for somebody within the HRE or somebody without? I think probably within. So, I'm going to go for the... I think I'm going to go for Brandenburg. Because Brandenburg are pretty nice. They're a nice ally to have. Right. Get royal marriage of Brandenburg. So this is Kingdom of Italy and the Empire. So this is the Shadow Kingdom. For years now, imperial authority over the Kingdom of Italy has been waning. Successive emperors have failed to impose their will on the Italian state, and large areas that are formerly part of the empire have been lost to Venice and the Papal States, who reject the empire's right to them. Unless northern Italy is firmly brought back into the empire, the states there may slip out of imperial control forever. So, unless all of the region in the Kingdom of Italy is part of the empire before 1490 and stays inside it until 1550, the states there are likely to leave the empire. So, yeah, basically we capture it or there's chance they'll leave the empire. So, that is the Shadow Kingdom in a nutshell. Let's start by... What do we want to do? I suppose we should improve relations with a few people. Improve relations with you. Let's improve relations with you. Do that for the moment. That's fine. So what we're going to do immediately is start looking at Venice. Have we got any claims? We have claim on Franche-Comté, but that's just from our mission. So we're going to we're going to look at Venice with hungry eyes, I think. I'm actually going to bring my guy back from Austria, Hungary. I am Austria, and start building a spike network in Venice. I want to get claims and whatnot as soon as possible. And also having the claims reduces aggressive expansion, which is nice. Even if I don't do the Shadow Kingdom, as in I don't achieve it, I don't get it in time, I still want Venice's land. Some of it is nice and juicy. I will probably get them to give Brescia, or Brescia, I can't remember how you pronounce it, back to Milan. So I think Milan are indeed in the Empire. So I will give Brescia back to Milan, I think. Because it is a very high development province. But Milan won't like me for it. It's mainly because, like, the culture is Lombard. So essentially what I want is this to... Because if I... Okay, so let me explain. Venice are currently technically out of the Empire. If I fail the Shadow Kingdom and they or anyone else who's out of the Empire still own Brescia, it might well be dragged out of the Empire. If I give it to Milan, who are in and will stay in the Empire in their entirety, there's no chance it'll get taken out, basically. So if I give that to them, not only will it stay in the Empire, but I won't have to suffer the aggressive expansion, which would be a lot because it's a high development province. So that's going to Milan. I'll take these for myself. Thank you very much. And then from there, we can start going down through northern Italy. And it's all about managing sort of not overextension, sorry. Well, that, but mainly aggressive expansion. So in the next episode, we will see where that takes us. We'll focus on getting sort of our claims done in Venice and, yeah, go on from there. So thank you very, very much for watching the first episode. I appreciate we've barely pressed the play button, but we will in the next one. So thank you very much for watching, and I will speak to you in the next one. Take care.